fingers, give them what you got. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you so much, Mimi. My name is Marty Scholes, and I will be facilitating here today. Let me start off and tell you a couple things we'd like to do, a little housekeeping, so that we can keep this organized, make sure everybody gets as much benefit as possible out of this. First of all, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Cheryl Klinger. She's on this call, and she'll be monitoring chats and questions, and she will reach out, and that way we can make sure everybody gets their questions addressed or concerns without necessarily having too many people jump in. I've been on many meetings, I'm sure we all have, where that's a problem, where everybody jumps in at the wrong time. So if you have any questions, please just reach out to Cheryl. We'll make sure that we get them addressed, anything you want to talk about. I'd like, first of all, to go around the room here and have everybody introduce themselves. Certainly all the guests that are here. Let's start with, just in the order that they are here on my list, Eric Merrill. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name's Eric Merrill. I'm the owner and master brewer at Whistle Pig Brewing Company. I am also in the same Toastmasters Club as Marty and Mimi.
Thank you so much, Eric. Jennifer, would you like to just tell us your name and whatever expertise you have?
Thank you, Marty. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Yancey. I am a financial coach / financial educator here in Colorado Springs. And I'm also a veteran, and I am, as Mimi the Motivator had mentioned, I'm also a poet. My poet handle is Rose Gold. And I know Marty and Ms. Mimi through Toastmasters as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. And James, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, Marty, for introducing me. Let me come in, folks. Welcome, folks. My name is James Flowers. I am the voice and the master DJ Shield, the man on the wheels of steel, to play the beats, make to move your feet. That's what I'm well known for, folks. But I'm also the legal knight to protect your rights. I'm on guard duty day and night. So I want to let you know, if you have any legal concerns out there, if you want to get your contracts reviewed to make sure your clients are being taken care of, give me a call. Once they open the door and the floodgates get free, you're ready to have that party. Call me and Marty. Back to you.
Thank you so much, James. And we'd like to applaud here a little bit. Mimi showing us how. Just shake your hands a little bit there. In person-to-person, clapping works, but when we're all muted, clapping is much less effective. Fantastic. Moving on. Sandy Merrill, if you're available, I know you're multitasking here. Could you jump in and tell us a little bit about yourself and your expertise?
Hello, Sandy Merrill. I am one of the co-owners of Whistle Pig Brewing Company. I am a compliance analyst at Ant Credit Union and a fellow Toastmaster.
Fantastic, Sandy. Thank you so much. And Zachary Barker, would you like to jump in and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'll even pop my video on here. So, hey, hopefully you guys can see me. My name is Zachary Barker. Relatively new to Colorado Springs. I am actually the president of the Rising Professionals for 2020, and as of last week, also 2021, thanks to COVID. I do startup support, teaching, training startups how to grow and accelerate their sales and marketing. Beyond that, my mission here is to make sure that Colorado Springs is a better connected personally, socially, and from a diversity standpoint. So if I don't know you yet, just a matter of time. And thank you, Mimi. I love you for all that you do here.
Thank you so much, Zachary. I mentioned Cheryl Klinger a few minutes ago. I'd like to introduce Cheryl. Cheryl, I'd like you to come in and tell us a little bit about yourself here and what you'll be doing.
Okay, I will be the chat monitor. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to send them to me via the chat room. I work with Peterson Air Force Base Toastmasters, and my profession is I am a high school math teacher. I actually teach in Pueblo at an alternative education school, and we're a digital / blended online learning school. So I'm actually teaching. This is middle of my work day. So
fantastic. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'd like to introduce our next presenter. This is Rodney Gullette, and he's Colorado Springs' favorite cybersecurity resource, a leading member of Rotary and the Business Networking International Group. He's a certified Chief Information Security Officer, a certified ethical hacker. Didn't think that was a thing, did you? and the CEO of Firma IT Solutions and Services. Please help me welcome up Rodney.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Marty. Thank you, Mimi, the motivator, my favorite motivator's motivator, for allowing me to be part of this, this Toastmasters presentation for you guys. So today, I'm going to be talking to you about online meeting security for this meeting today, the 19th of May. My name is Rodney Gullette. I'm a certified ethical hacker, certified chief information security officer, and a certified network defense architect, and about 13 other certifications in the IT industry. I have a contract with KRDO News 13 and Fox 21 News. I'm their cybersecurity expert that they call on when things go down. And the 2019 Veteran Small Business Owner of the Year for Small Business Week. I'm an Air Force veteran and a proud military spouse. And again, it is an honor to be here with you today. So let's get down to business. So let's talk about Zoom. So it is definitely the most popular online meeting platform. It definitely became way more popular since COVID-19 sprang its ugly head on the world. They've been improving their security since COVID-19. They've been a platform that was regularly in use before COVID, but when the virus hit, it became a lot more popular. A lot more light was shown on this company, and it revealed some shortcomings that they had in their platform as far as security and how they were protecting your privacy. Right now, they have some new defaults that are engaged when you create new meetings, and they're also encrypting meetings now, which is a thing that I really appreciate them doing. In the early part of March, they were hit with a very large lawsuit because of privacy. And I want to show you what that privacy issue looks like. Let me share that screen with you guys. So this is what the privacy issue looks like. Down here on the bottom, you will see the option to sign in with your Google account or your Facebook account. Zoom is not special for allowing this type of connection. If you are ever presented with the option to sign up for any type of online service and they ask you to sign in with your Google account or Facebook account, do not do it. The reason that Zoom is under a lawsuit is because in this privacy policy, they did not say that when you sign in with your Facebook account or your Google account that they will share all that information between Zoom and Google or Zoom and Facebook. There's tons of organizations that do that, but since they did not outline it in their privacy policy, they're now facing a lawsuit. So let me just make this clear for all you folks. Google sells all of your information that you give their platform. Their free platform. So if you have any accounts at gmail.com, all that information is being sold on Google in real time. Anything in your Google Docs, your Picasa, your email, all that's being sold in real time. So if you're running a business with a gmail.com account, everything that you are sending back and forth to clients is being sold. Facebook, they're selling information too. They make all their money on the information that you feed their platform. So if you want to keep your information secure and private, do not sign into any accounts with those platforms. Instead, use the single sign-on, create an account specifically for Zoom to access your Zoom account. And that's for any other accounts that you may be accessing as well. So I want to make sure that you all understand that. Let's go back to the presentation. So in your meeting setups, you have the ability to use passwords, which Mimi had effectively set up for this meeting. You also have the ability to use registration, which is something you should also set up. And you also have the ability to use waiting rooms. Those are the three main security types for your Zoom meetings. And I highly recommend that you use them. If you don't, you may fall prey to a trending issue called Zoom bombing, where somebody will just jump onto your meeting uninvited and start sharing inappropriate content to all the people in your meeting. I have not witnessed this happen, but I have heard it happen to people that I know here in the Springs. So outside of Zoom, there is also something that I want to make sure you are all aware of and give you some training on, and it's your passwords. Your passwords to Zoom and any other account can be hacked at any time. So you want to make sure you are doing everything you can to use safe and effective password habits. So let's talk about passwords. The FCC says that your passwords need to be at least 10 characters long. You can also use passphrases. So if you want to have a password that says, Mimi the Motivator is awesome sauce, and you capitalize the correct letters and put punctuation at the end and put spaces in between the words, that's a good password. No problem. Do not use dictionary words. Do not use dictionary words in other languages. Do not use words turned into symbols, like you see up here with the word passwords. Change your passwords every 90 days. It's very important. Use multi-factor authentication. Rodney, what in the world is multi-factor authentication? When I was showing you that Zoom login screen, you saw that I had an email address and a password in the box. When I hit sign in, it's going to send a code to my phone before it lets me into the account. That is multi-factor authentication. The username and password is something that you know. The code sent to your phone is something that you have. That's the second factor of authentication. The third factor of authentication is something that you are. I have an iPhone X. I can look at the phone and smile, and it'll unlock my phone for me. It's using facial recognition. It's a biometric feature. That's something that I am. So it's what you know, what you have, and what you are. Every online account that you have should have a different password associated to it. You should not be sharing passwords. The number one way to get your Zoom account hacked is to have it match a password to some other account. That's the way to get any of your accounts hacked. I'm sure many of you remember Hillary Clinton getting her emails hacked back during the election cycle. That happened because people that were using her DNC system had the same password for other accounts that they have. Sorry about that, pretty active morning on the phone. So make sure that all of your online accounts have different passwords. You also need to lie on your secret questions. So the secret questions are typically what you find when you're trying to reset your password, just in case you forgot them. If you are on social media, like most of us are, you've probably seen posts that say something like, what was your first car? Put them in the comments below. And you'll have hundreds of people with their real names and the first car that they ever had. Or, where was your honeymoon? Put those in the post below. And you'll have hundreds of people's real names in the first place they went on their honeymoon. People, those are secret questions. That is an example of what my industry calls an advanced persistent threat. We use social engineering as an attack vector because people just can't wait to share stuff that they probably shouldn't share. So what should you use as answers for your secret questions? Don't even use words for them. Use a random string of uppercase, lowercase numbers and symbols, just a long string of them. So now you're probably asking, Rodney, how in the world am I supposed to remember different passwords for every account, remember to change them every 90 days, and all the lies that I put for my secret questions? I'm glad you asked that question. Use something called a password safe program. There are plenty of them out there. The one that I like to use is called LastPass. LastPass.com, excellent program. All you have to do is remember one password, the most complicated one you can commit to memory, and turn on multi-factor authentication, and then all of your passwords for all your accounts are behind that vault. And all the information as far as the secret questions and any other secret information is all behind that vault. They have a phone app, they have a website, they also have a plugin that goes into your web browser, which is really, really nice. Use those to keep your password safe, and you will not have any issues with anybody hacking into any of your accounts or any of your online meeting spaces. Now, do we have any questions? Happy to answer questions.
I have a question, Mr. Rodney.
Yes, Mr. Flower.
Everything that you showed me is great for my personal, but as far as my business, you know, I have clients that I'm taking their personal information in as far as accepting credit cards or tracking their checks in my QuickBooks, you know, what would be a great thing to help protect that as well, my personal and business, sir?
If you're using QuickBooks online, make sure you turn on two-factor authentication. I know they have it because I use it and they have that in there. You really shouldn't be holding on to people's credit card information. For PCI DSS, that's kind of frowned upon, but if you need to store it for recurring processing, I know QuickBooks Online has a feature that allows you to do that. It doesn't keep the entirety of the credit card on file. I use authorize.net for my recurring billing. So all that credit card information gets stored in there. I never get the credit card information. I'm able to send a link to the client. They pay the bill, and I can capture that credit card information and then recurring bill it every month. So, you know, there's a lot of secure ways to take and process credit cards. The thing about PCI DSS is it's up to $5,000 per credit card if you are breached. So be careful with how you're processing credit cards. If you are swiping credit cards, you are wrong. Don't swipe credit cards. You should be dipping the chip-enabled cards. That's how you should be processing credit cards. I hope that answered your question, my brother.
Yes, it did, sir. I appreciate that because you made an excellent point about the $5,000 per credit card. And that's if you have a company or a client who has multiple users, that's $5,000 per card within that company that has been hacked. And unless you've got a great retirement plan set up by Jennifer, you're going to need help with legal stuff. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir. And get cyber liability insurance if you don't have it. That'll help too. Anybody else?
I'll tell you what, we got some more Q&A at the end. So if we missed any, anybody wants to jump in, please feel free to send your questions to Cheryl and we'll be sure and take them up. Help me give it up for Rodney. Thank you so much, Rodney.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you.
Let's move on now to our next presenter, who will be Mimi, the Motivator. Mimi, come to talk to us.
Hi, everybody. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, Rodney, for that information. I was over here taking notes like a mad person. I like that. Thank you so much, because we definitely need to know that. I know as area director in Toastmasters, I have a lot of members that have been emailing me, and when I attend their meetings, they're like, well, we're scared about Zoom. Some of them won't even touch Zoom. So thank you for letting us know what the truth was about the Zoom and how to keep ourselves safe. So what I'm going to talk about today is more about how to be prepared, how to be engaged, and how to be engaging. How many of you feel like you live online now, like you live in a Zoom meeting? Show of hands. I'm going to show two. So using your chat box, tell me how many meetings online do you attend a week right now? I'm very curious to see. I know personally, I think I'm somewhere between 5 and 10, I think, about myself. So that's looking like about the same for everybody else. So at least one a day. Is that what it's about to be for most of you all? Yes, I know I'm on them once a day, whether it is for something like a group organization, whether I'm attending a webinar, I'm hosting a webinar, or I'm even chit-chatting with the family and the friends. There's all this going on, but from our computers right now. And we just need to make the best of it so we can be the best at it, because everybody on this call is either an entrepreneur, a business owner, a business professional, or somebody that is managing folks and having to attend meetings. So let's be the best at it. So first, I want to go over a few notes that are for us as participants. So the one thing that is for sure is that if you are going to be participating in an online meeting, make sure you have the link in advance. And so that way it's not time to get on and now you're searching for the link and you can't remember which email address it went to or where it goes to, or is it in my phone? Do I need to check my text message? You know, find out where that link is and have it prepared. Have it on your Google Calendar or wherever it is that you keep your calendar. I know I'm a Google Calendar person, so my computer tells me when to be somewhere. My phone tells me when to be there. But that way you can have the link right there and go to your calendar, click on the link. The next thing that I want to remind you all is about background. Background, I got my little books. You see, I got my Who Moved My Cheese. You know, my background could be the kitchen. You know, if I just was on the other side of this table, you'd be looking at my kitchen sink and my stove and all of that. not so appealing. There's the option of making a green screen for $4, maybe less if you shop at Walmart. But if you ran over to your local Dollar Tree, you could get 4 big jumbo bright green pieces of, what do you call it? Construction paper, not construction paper, poster boards. Tape them to the wall behind you. And then on Zoom, it allows you to use a virtual background. And now you can have the green screen that everybody is paying all these dollars for to have, just to have something fancy going on in the background. But you can have it for $4. That's simple. The other thing is to dress the part. So look like you're going to a meeting when you're going to a meeting. If you're going to present, look like it, at least from the waist up. From the waist down, you can have on your PJs. Nobody knows. You can have on your workout gear. I usually have on my running pants. So that way when I get out of the meeting, I'm going whoof, and then I'm going running. Nobody knows. They just need to see us from the waist up. So that's the other thing, is see all this space I have to be able to use my arms? What if I'm this close and I'm using my hands and all you see is just the tips of my fingers? That doesn't work. So consider that. Make sure you have enough space so if you are using your hands and you're using gestures, you have some space to work with. This is now your stage if you're a speaker. If you are normally in front of a classroom, this is now the front of the classroom. If you have a whiteboard, then you can also adjust to make where someone can see your entire body, but at least give us this much. Don't just give us your head and all this above. How many meetings have you been to and this is all you see of the people? You have all this up above space. I went to another meeting and the man talked the whole time like this. We just saw his mouth. We let him know we just saw his mouth. So he said, oh, well, let me adjust it. And then he was back like this. So make sure you're even testing your own video. Make sure you see how you look. A lot of times Zoom will give you the opportunity to test your audio. Test your audio so you can see. Yes, someone put that you can see yourself in the corner. Please check yourself out. Don't just be checking everybody else out. Next thing, look at the little dot. Wherever your little dot is, look at the dot. I know it's nice to be able to look at you all's faces. I can glance down, but if I just keep on looking down like this, I am never making eye contact with any of you. Or if I just look at my notes the whole time and then look at your faces and then I look at my notes, we are not making eye contact. Do you feel engaged? No. But now if I look dead at this camera, I'm talking to you. I'm talking directly to you. So make sure that you talk directly to the little dot. If you have to put a post-it note that says, look here, whatever you have to do, make it happen so you are making eye contact with the people that you are talking to or presenting to. It also, if you are a participant, don't be like this the whole time. We see you. We see what you're doing. I have somebody else where I know they have their second screen and the whole time they're on their second screen doing something while we're in a meeting. We see you. At least have the common decency to turn your camera off. If you're going to get up and walk away, turn your camera off. Otherwise, have everything you need in arm's reach distance. So, being engaged. Oh, let's talk about lighting real quick. Turn that light off for me. See how different that is? It's not as bright. Now, I don't have a fancy light ring going on right now. Turn that back on. I just have a desk lamp clamped to the table, showing some extra light on me because I know that I'm in a darker space and I have to close my curtains because that's a little blurry and blinding behind me. So always check yourself out. If there's some kind of way for you to see yourself on video before getting online, check yourself out. But if not, as soon as you get online, make the proper adjustments. So another way we can be engaged is how you see people typing in the chat box. You can tell they're professional online meter people, you know. Engage. Engage by saying, yes, I like that. You can even engage using the reactions button, hand claps, thumbs up. Use these things so that way people know that you are engaged and you are listening and you're not just sitting there as a box on their Hollywood squares. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions when people are presenting. Type it in the box. Don't interrupt. You know, because I've been somewhere where somebody was like, well, I got a question. Don't do that, please. Please either raise your hand. That's also an option. Raise your hand so people can know you want to speak, or the presenter knows you have something to say. Or if you have a chat monitor, like we have our lovely Cheryl, you send Cheryl a message and say, hey, I can't hear her very well, or whatever it is. If somebody says something you really enjoy, let them know. Use it to private chat. You see somebody like, hey, I want to connect with you after the meeting. There's all kind of people on here that we all don't know each other, but I'm sure somebody has said something. You're like, I can use that person. Send that person a private chat with your email address and say, let's connect later. I saw something really catchy the other day. I saw someone do. You know, we can rename ourselves. So this person had their email address or something like this. Now, I thought that was kind of slick. So that way, if I've said something that you resonated with, you have my email address and you can connect with me later. So take advantage of these ways, because we may not have the opportunity to pass business cards back and forth when we're all done. So take advantage. As a presenter, make sure your link works. Try the link yourself. Have somebody else try the link and tell them, did it work? Test it out. And then make sure that if something goes wrong, you send out an immediate email blast of, this may not work, or here's a backup. I even sent out an email that said, text me at this number if you're having problems, because you never know. I know there were some people that had trouble logging into this meeting. So we want to be prepared as a presenter. We want to be secure. We want to make sure that we have safe meetings. So if you want to know how to be safe, you have to press rewind and refer to Mr. Gullette's presentation, because he told us what we need to do to be safe ourselves, and also to how to host a safe meeting. So make sure that you employ those practices. Water. If you are going to be talking, have some water handy. First of all, it makes you think clearer. Second of all, it makes your throat feel a little clearer and you can speak a little clearer. Because when you get all dry and scratchy, we can hear you and we can see you trying to work through it. You know, if somebody's like, they keep swallowing because there's not enough stuff going, we see you and we hear you. So have some water available, okay? The last thing as a presenter, well, two more things. Have notes in case you lose your train of thought. If you know you talk slow, be ready to be able to cut a portion of your presentation out. If you know you talk fast like I do, that means I have to have extra content just in case I run out, because I'm going 90 miles per hour. It's how I talk. I move fast. And the last thing is to make sure that you are being engaging as a presenter. Have the people use the chat box. Do you use the chat box when you attend meetings? Like when you're presenting, do you tell people to use the chat box? Use the chat box and let me know. Another way is to a show of hands. So show of hands, how many of you have learned something today? People want to be involved. It's boring. We're not in the same room with each other, feeling each other's energy. Yes, we get to feel a little energy online, but it's so much more when we can see people moving, seeing people engaged, and keeping them engaged in the party. All right. So the last thing that is a tip, and I want to try really quickly. Do you know how to make a breakout room? So I'm going to show you all how to make a breakout room. So at the bottom of the screen, if you are the presenter, it says breakout room. And you would click on that. So if you're a participant, it doesn't show that just yet, but it may give you the option to join the room. So 1 second, and let me get this going. Maybe it's because you're online. Okay, well, can you make me host? Reclaim host, I got it, all right. Okay, let's see if I can work this out. I practiced earlier, and you have to practice these different things. And of course, all of a sudden, I don't see the option. I think maybe I would have had to set it up ahead of time. So if you are setting up a Zoom meeting, and when you do the invite, you have all these different options. So one of the options is to like enable a waiting room, all these different things. But one of the options is where you can make meeting rooms, and you can do breakout sessions, and I can divide you all up where you would be 2 people in a room. That's another way to engage and to allow participants to engage more and to have some more in-depth conversation or to even network. So keep in mind that there are all kind of possibilities with Zoom. We have only covered about this many out of what is available for you to use. I encourage you to go to Zoom, check out their tutorials, or go to YouTube. I think they're better because there's an expert out there who thinks they know way more than what we do, and they are willing to share. So I thank you for your time, and we will now have a little Q&A. I'll pass this back over to Marty to kind of guide us through this thing. He's better than I am. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Mimi. I want to point out that Mimi shared with us one thing that's always true in meetings, and that is that something will go wrong. Just be ready for it. Fantastic. So I want to say, everybody, thank you so much for coming out here today. Really looking forward to any questions that you have. Please just go ahead and throw them in the chat box or shoot them through Cheryl if you would. And let's see what questions we have. We'll get the right person to answer them for you.
I just want to point out, I saw in the chat box that someone says, I probably use the chat box too much. I don't know if it's a such thing or not.
Yeah, I don't know. James, you'd like to, you have a comment?
Yes, I have a comment. I've been on Zooms for long. I've had a class with Ms. Yancey. I'm pretty first on it myself, Rodney, everybody running. But this class, the way that Mimi taught it was outstanding. The way she gave the examples of everything in the chat was spot on. And I'm checking my system for a hidden camera because everything Mimi was talking about is like she was in my office. Don't have the other phone, other video here. Don't sit and change and look away. And I'm sitting there like, okay, let me put this computer down because I think she's looking at me and stuff. But she was spot on everything that we do, and we don't notice, but everybody notices you. I'll get one last comment and I'm out. Everybody has seen the viral video of the Zoom meeting, and the young lady went to the bathroom to relieve herself and forgot to turn her camera off. That is a shining example of why you need to have these classes come to and learn so you're not known forever. Thank you for my comment time. Back to you, Ms. Mimi, the Motivator's Motivator Master.
Thank you so much, James. I agree completely. Absolutely. Any other questions or comments?
I have a question for Rodney. What is for us layman's folks who don't really speak all this IT stuff, what is just the number one thing we need to make sure that we do? If we don't do any of the other stuff that you named, what's the number one thing that we need to make sure that we do when we're attending these Zoom calls?
Change your password. Change your password. If you ain't changed your passwords in a while, you change them today. You had made a good point about some of the fear behind Zoom meetings. I've got access to information in regards to like cyber attacks and things that you should be worried about that are happening in the cyber realm. I haven't seen anything regarding Zoom that makes me want to abandon the platform. So whatever you are finding out there online as far as like why you should be afraid of Zoom, or like Google, is saying, hey, Google's not letting employees use Zoom anymore. They're banning it. Like, Zoom is one, like Google's one to talk. They've been selling your personal information for years. So, don't let that be your determining factor. If you got any questions, please ask me. And don't let fear keep you from engaging people. Zoom is doing a lot of work around the clock to make their systems more secure. If you have the program installed on your computers, you'll notice at least 2-3 times a week it's asking you to update the program. Update it every time it asks you to do it, because they're engaging a lot more security features and improvements to keep your whole online session safe. So I think everything that you said, Mimi, today about setting up the Zoom calls and your etiquette and all that, like is spot on. So If there's anything anybody's going to remember everything that she said. Okay? Like, fix your camera right. Don't leave it on when you're going to the restroom. If you got to go somewhere and do something, turn your camera off. Mute yourself. If the person that is running the meeting doesn't know how to mute you, mute yourself. That's very disruptive to a meeting. I see a lot of that too. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you. I have one more question for you. Someone told me, I heard someone suggest that I shouldn't log into Zoom from my administrator account on my laptop. Like I need to create a user account to log into Zoom. What do you think about that?
That's not necessarily Zoom specific. It is a good practice. If you have a computer, typically talking about Windows-based computer systems, you should have a user account that you use that doesn't give you access to install programs and all that kind of stuff. And if you need to install programs, have another user account on your computer that gives you administrative rights to your computer. The issue is all the cyber attacks that are happening. If you're using a less privileged user account, and let's say you get some kind of ransomware thing or something, that ransomware is not going to be able to execute because it's on a least privileged user account. If you're on their admin account, then it's definitely going to execute and wreak havoc on your system. So that's just a good cyber practice to follow, is to have a separate user account to work on, and then a separate user account as an admin to do administrative type stuff on your computer. I'm sure Marty can attest to that as the other geek on the call, right?
I appreciate everything you're saying, Rodney, and you've been hammering on the password thing for a long time, and I want to second that. Some of the advice I received was if you can remember your passwords, they're too easy and they're wrong. Mine are all random strings. I don't know what they are. I was at Apple the other day, and they said, "Here, type in your password." And I said, "Are you kidding? I don't know what it is." So, yeah. And do not reuse them at all, ever, across multiple accounts. You said that. That's just a terrible, terrible idea.
Yep.
I agree with everything you said. Good information.
Thank you, sir.
Rodney, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So earlier on, you had mentioned something about cyber liability insurance. How does one go about getting that, and what would be the criteria for it? Who would be the best user for that?
So you've got my contact information. Mimi's got it. Please send it out. I'll put it in the chat here also. Cyber liability insurance is not the same across the board on all providers. They all offer different types of insurance. I've got some people that I work with. I've done some Fox 21 interviews with some really worthy and well-qualified providers of cyber liability insurance. What that typically is able to do for you, let's say you get ransomware and they're asking you for $25,000. Your cyber liability insurance may pay for that. Let's say you do end up, swiping credit cards and you get a breach of your credit card for $5,000 per card. Your cyber liability insurance may pay for that. If you're a business that is handling personal information for people, let's say you're like a medical facility and you get breached and it is found that you are not protecting that information, it's up to $50,000 per record for HIPAA information. Most businesses don't have that. Your cyber liability insurance may pay for that. Your clients may sue you when they find out that you weren't protecting their personal information. So all those legal fees, cyber liability insurance may pay for that. You have to notify all of your clients that you may have had a breach. That costs money. Cyber liability insurance may pay for that. You need to offer them at least a year worth of identity theft protection. So you need to get that through James, through ID Shield. The cyber liability insurance will pay for that. So, there's a lot of different scenarios about why businesses go out of business within 6 months of a cyber attack. Cyber liability insurance helps kind of pad some of those issues. So I have about 2 or 3 people I can refer you to, Jennifer, to ask them about what their cyber liability coverage is. You want to find out how much the deductible is and how high their coverage is. You want at least $1 million worth of coverage. And I know some providers that will have a deductible of like $1,500 to pay out for those things. So some of them ask you for questionnaires. They give you a questionnaire before they provide you insurance, which I think is a smart thing to do. But those questions may be questions that you may not know how to answer. So they'll ask you, do you have a firewall? Is your firewall updated with the latest firmware? All that might be Greek to you. And if you end up checking yes to all the questions just so you can get your insurance, when a breach happens and they go back and find out that you didn't have any of that stuff in place, they're not going to pay out your insurance. Depending on what kind of cyber attack you have, you know, Iran, North Korea, China, you know, we have nation states that have that pay a lot of money to hack into your stuff. So if it is determined that it was a state-sponsored cyber attack that hit your business, your cyber liability insurance may not pay out for that. So you need to ask them those questions as well. So I'm happy to talk further on it. It's a whole subject on its own. But I got some people you can call to give you some help. So I hope that answers your question, Jennifer.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you both, Jennifer and Rodney. I appreciate that.
Rodney.
Up here in a couple minutes, we may have time for another question.
Okay. There's a question from Mimi. Says, do you do free consultations, Rodney?
I sure do. I'm glad you asked that question. So we do free cybersecurity analyses for businesses. And we just come in and we take a look at your systems. We don't hack your systems. Typically the clients that we go see have no type of security in place anyway. They're wide open. And these are your accountants doing your taxes right now, no security. Your lawyers, your chiropractors, your dentists, all these people that handle your personal information, like those folks are not, they're good at their profession doing those things. They don't know anything about protecting your data from cyber attacks. And then we have this little thing called House Bill 1128. That's the Colorado data privacy law. That's going to have a whole group of penalties and issues if you do not secure this data. So yes, we do free consultations to tell you what your vulnerabilities are, and we give you a proposal on how to move forward securely. So thank you for asking that question, Mimi. Thank you.
I know Marty's I can answer right behind.
Yeah, we got time for one more. James, jump on in.
Real quick, to give you a prime example of what Rodney's talking about, I have a client who is a tax preparer, and you know they handle a lot of business. So when they're doing your taxes, I'll use Rodney for example. So they have Rodney and his wife and all the girls' social security number in there along with his business. When that person got hacked, all of that information for, I think it was 150 or 175 clients, all got taken out. Now, by law, that person's held liable to provide identity theft protection for each person's business EIN and social security number that was used. At the same time, as Rodney already said, if they were held liable and found out they didn't have the right protection, that's $50,000 times 150, 175. Not counting the fact of each person have to pay identity theft protection. Bottom line, this client was looking in the tens to $20 million held liable. They did have our identity theft protection plan. They did have a cybersecurity plan in place. So that $2,000 or I think it was like $2,000 or $3,000 deductible for all of that was paid versus $10 to $20 million. Definitely, if you don't have the stuff reviewed, give it Rodney and get it looked at, get with me to get looked at, or give somebody who you trust to get looked at, and we're glad to help you. That's it. So.
Marty, you're muted.
Wow, is that better? That was weird. Thank you so much, James. I want to say thank you to all the people that presented, gave us great information and the fantastic questions. At this time, I'd like to return control back to our host, Mimi the Motivator.
Thank you so much. This was a great meeting. I learned a lot. I hope you all did too. Follow up with Rodney. Follow up with anybody on this call that has some information that you may need. If you aren't able to get that person's contact information, then reach out to me. I know how to get in contact with everybody on this call. So I do want to let you know that I do have a business boot camp that will be coming up next month. I'll send you some information in a follow-up email about that to give you more of this masterclass type of stuff, but just things that can up our professional game to the next level. If you're already in business, it can take your business to the next level. If you are thinking about starting a business, then this is also a great class for you. So please share this. This recording will go out as well in the follow-up email, so it'll have all kind of things in there. So just go through it and see what it is that you need, and whatever else you don't need, don't worry about it, but share anything that you find that is valuable to you and that you find that will be valuable to anyone else. So if there is nothing else, does anybody have any announcements? We have a couple of minutes. I know there are different things going on in the world, but all of you all have stuff. So if you have something going on that you would like to invite us to, or if you have a promotion or anything, go ahead and take this opportunity to unmute yourself and let us know. Going once, going twice. Okay.
Hey, can we put everybody's information in the chat so we can save that?
Yes.
Thank you.
And what I can do is possibly maybe I can put this all together and send that. So that way we'll all make sure we have each other's information. How about that?
So I am the president-elect of the Rotary Club of Colorado Springs.
Mm-hmm.
The first Rotary Club established in Colorado Springs about 104 years ago. I invite you all to our meetings. If you're interested in a link to our Zoom meetings right now, I'd be happy to give it to you. So just find me offline and I'll send it to you.
Awesome.
Love to have you.
So I see some trivia. There's Who Knew trivia going down on Facebook. So make sure you check that out. I'm going to go ahead.
I think there's a spoken word battle coming up in the next month. And I think our spoken word artist is featured on there. I think she may have a comment on that if she might have slipped. Y'all see that face? When I get in front of him, that's what he's going to get. Back to you, Ms. Jennifer.
Okay, so what DJ Shield was talking about, there is a Christopher Beasley, who's one of the co-directors of Poetry 719 here in the Springs. He orchestrated, he wants to be the Don King of poetry. So he orchestrated a poetry battle between myself, Rose Gold Poet, and my friend Phil, who goes, his name is, they call me Midnight. He is from Brooklyn, I am from the Bronx, so it's kind of a New York versus New York thing. So if anybody's interested, it will take place on June 3rd. And let's see, it'll be broadcasted on Facebook Live, and it'll also be on Zoom, of course. So, oh, and I'm violating one of the rules. I'm not looking at the dot. So June 3rd on Zoom, and it'll be posted, it'll be broadcast on Facebook Live. So thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody else? What should we expect on the menu today at Whistle Pig? What can we call in order?
Oh, we've got our date night special going. It's a great special. It's either 2 burgers, 2 pork sandwiches, 2 loaded grilled cheese, or a combination of 2 of any of those.
Ooh.
2 bombers of beer for $30.
What time do I need to be there? What time does this start?
We're open 4 to 7.
All right. Let me write that down. That might be my dinner tonight. Whistle Pig. Okay. All right. One last thing, in case any of you are into that whole astrology, metaphysics, intuitive world, a new service that I am offering now with my one-on-one consultations, well, not consultation, but my one-on-one sessions with my coaching sessions. It comes with a customized natal chart. I have a live astrologer now on staff. So if you are interested in that, make sure that you reach out to me at mimithemotivator.com. And as always, make sure you are listening to the Get High on Motivation show. It's 30 minutes every Wednesday, a new show, you know, giving you what you need to get your mind, body, and spirit right as business professionals out here in the world. So thank you again for your time. This is now coming to an end. That's all, folks.